The diplomatic facade. The Galactic Trade Assembly Station floated in neutral space, a massive structure built by 17 different civilizations over 3 centuries. Its corridors buzzed with activity as merchants, diplomats, and travelers from across the galaxy conducted their business. In one of the smaller conference rooms, Ambassador Chen Wei sat across from representatives of the Krovar Empire, maintaining her calm expression despite the rising tension. The Krovar were impressive specimens by any measure, standing nearly 3 meters tall. Their exoskeletons gleamed like polished obsidian under the station's lights. Their forearms ended in sharp talons and their mandibles clicked rhythmically as they spoke through translation devices. For 200 years, the Krovar had been expanding their territory through intimidation and selective warfare. Smaller species either submitted or were crushed. Chen had been negotiating with them for 6 weeks now. The issue was simple. The Krovar wanted access to 3 human mining colonies in the Outer Reach sector. They claimed the resources belonged to them by right of proximity. Never mind that humanity had been working those asteroids for 15 years, or that the Krovar had shown no interest in the region until surveys revealed valuable mineral deposits. Commander Veskith, the lead Krovar negotiator, leaned forward in his specially reinforced chair. His translator rendered his clicking speech into standard galactic language. Ambassador Chen, your species continues to waste our time with these endless discussions. The Krovar Empire has made its position clear. Those territories will be ours. The only question is whether your people leave peacefully or in cargo containers. Chen took a sip of her tea before responding. The delay was calculated, something her diplomatic training had emphasized. Never appear rushed or desperate. Commander Veskith, Earth's position remains unchanged. We have legal claim to those colonies under Galactic Assembly law. We established presence, filed the proper documentation, and have been operating there for over a decade. No amount of threats will change these facts. Another Krovar, Sub-Commander Jirax, made a sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. Laws. You hide behind laws like prey animals hide behind rocks. The strong take what they need. This is the way of the universe. Your species learned to build ships and thought that made you equals. You are wrong. Chen set down her cup carefully. She had rehearsed this moment many times. Commander, humanity has been patient. We have followed every diplomatic protocol. We have offered compromises and alternative solutions. But I must inform you that patience has limits. If the Krovar Empire continues on this path, you will force us to respond differently. Veskith's mandibles spread wide in what Chen recognized as a Krovar expression of amusement. Respond? We have studied your species, Ambassador. Your ships are adequate for cargo transport but lack serious weapons. Your colonies have minimal defenses. You have no warrior culture, no military tradition worth mentioning. You are traders and scientists playing at being spacefaring civilization. He stood up, his full height making the room feel smaller. I have fought in 43 campaigns across 17 star systems. The Krovar military has never lost a war. Your entire species has been in space for barely 100 years. You are children, and children should listen when adults speak. Chen stood as well, though she barely reached his midsection. Commander Veskith, I want to be absolutely clear about what I'm going to say next. Earth has been operating under strict engagement protocols since we entered galactic space. These protocols limit our military demonstrations to avoid alarming other species. We chose this approach to build trust and maintain peace. She pulled out a data tablet and placed it on the table. This document contains Earth's formal withdrawal of those protocols regarding the Krovar Empire. If your forces attack any human installation, if any human citizen is harmed by Krovar action, you will see what we have chosen not to show the galaxy. This is not a threat. This is a warning from one government to another. Veskith picked up the tablet with one of his upper arms. He glanced at it briefly, then crushed it in his talons. The metal and circuits crunched like dry leaves. Your warning is noted and dismissed. The Krovar Empire does not alter its decisions based on desperate bluffs. We have given you 30 standard days to evacuate the Outer Reach colonies. That deadline expires in 3 days. Use them wisely. The Krovar delegation left the room with heavy footsteps that echoed down the corridor. Chen waited until they were gone, then activated her secure communicator. The encryption took several seconds to engage before Admiral Torres appeared on the small hologram. They rejected the warning, Chen said quietly. Torres nodded slowly. She was a veteran of Earth's naval forces, though her combat experience was limited to training exercises and simulations. Like everyone in Earth's military, She had spent her career preparing for scenarios that Command hoped would never occur. I'll inform Earth Command. The authorization codes will be transmitted within the hour. Admiral, do you think they'll actually attack? Maybe they're just posturing. Torres looked tired. Ambassador, in the past 50 years, the Krovar have attacked 9 different species. 8 of them capitulated. 1 tried to fight and was occupied within 6 months. They have no reason to believe we'll be different. They look at our ships and see cargo vessels. They look at our colonies and see soft targets. They have no idea what we've been hiding. Chen felt a weight in her chest. She had spent 20 years as a diplomat, always believing that words could prevent violence. Now she had to accept that some species only understood force. Then we show them. Yes, Torres agreed. We show them what politeness was concealing. Earth Command out. The hologram disappeared, leaving Chen alone in the conference room. Through the window, she could see dozens of ships docked at the station. Most were civilian vessels, traders and passenger transports going about their business. They had no idea that the galaxy was about to change, that humanity was about to reveal a secret it had kept for a century. 3 days passed with agonizing slowness. Chen returned to Earth's embassy station in the Terra Nova system, a small facility that served as humanity's administrative hub for the outer colonies. The miners and scientists on those asteroids had been quietly informed of the situation. Most chose to stay, trusting that Earth would protect them. A few families with young children evacuated to safer locations. On the final day, Chen was in the embassy command center when the alerts began. Ambassador, we have multiple Krovar warships entering the system, the sensor operator announced. Count is now at 32 vessels. They're heading directly for mining colony Vega 7. Chen watched the display screens showing the approaching fleet. Krovar warships were brutal in design. All angles and armor plating with weapon ports covering every surface. They moved in a standard attack formation, confident and unhurried. What's our response? The operator looked confused. Ma'am, according to our database, we have no military assets in this system. The nearest patrol ship is 4 days away. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Check again, Lieutenant. Use the updated database. Authorization code Delta Whisper 9. The operator entered the codes and his expression changed from confusion to shock. Ma'am, I'm showing 47 vessels in the system. They were here the whole time, but they weren't on our sensors. They were hiding. Not hiding, Chen corrected. Operating under stealth protocols that we've maintained since first contact with galactic civilization. Those protocols are now lifted. Across the system, ships that had been disguised as mining equipment, research stations, and cargo transports powered up systems that had been dormant for years. What appeared to be a simple ore hauler reconfigured itself, armor plating sliding into position and weapon ports opening along its hull. A small research station detached from an asteroid, revealing itself as a frigate with advanced shielding. One by one, Earth's hidden fleet revealed itself. The Krovar fleet stopped their advance. Chen could imagine the confusion on their command ships as sensors suddenly showed a force that matched their own in numbers. Though surely not in capability, that's what they would be thinking. The humans were bluffing again, showing ships that looked impressive but would crumble in actual combat. Commander Veskith's face appeared on the main communication screen, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. Ambassador Chen, what is this deception? You claim to have military vessels? These are civilian ships with weapons attached. You embarrass yourselves. Commander, this is your last opportunity to withdraw. Those are not civilian vessels with weapons attached. Those are military warships that have been deliberately operating below their actual capacity for the past century. We showed the galaxy what we wanted you to see. Now you'll see what we actually built. Veskith's image moved closer to his own screen. You think I fear this display? The Krovar Armada has defeated fleets 5 times your size. Your ships may look intimidating, but we know your technology level. We have purchased weapons from the same suppliers. Fire if you dare, and we will show you what real warriors can do. Chen took a deep breath. We gave you every chance. Earth Command, you are authorized to engage. Protect our citizens and our territory. What happened next would be analyzed by military historians for decades. The human fleet moved first, accelerating at speeds that their official specifications said were impossible. Their engines produced thrust levels that should have torn the ships apart. But they moved with perfect stability. Within 30 seconds, they had closed half the distance to the Krovar fleet. The Krovar opened fire, their plasma cannons unleashing streams of superheated energy. that had melted through the hulls of countless enemy ships. The bolts struck human vessels and dissipated against shields that absorbed the energy like water against stone. Return fire came immediately, but it wasn't the standard plasma weapons the Krovar expected. Human railguns fired solid projectiles at a fraction of light speed. The kinetic energy was devastating. Krovar shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, did nothing against solid matter moving at such velocity. The first volley disabled 6 Krovar warships, their propulsion systems shredded by tungsten rounds that punched through armor like paper. Chen watched the tactical display, feeling no satisfaction. War was failure, even when you won. But if humanity had to fight, they would do it with overwhelming force to end things quickly. That was the other lesson Earth had learned from its bloody history. Prolonged wars cost more lives on both sides. The Krovar fleet tried to regroup, but human ships were already among them, moving with coordination that suggested instantaneous communication. Their targeting systems found weak points in Krovar designs with uncanny accuracy. Another wave of railgun fire, and 12 more Krovar ships went dark, their crews alive but their vessels crippled. Commander Vesketh's transmission came through again, but his tone had changed completely. "Cease fire." "We surrender! Ambassador Chen, please cease fire. All human vessels hold fire," Chen ordered. The shooting stopped immediately, leaving the Krovar fleet floating in space with more than half their ships disabled. Not destroyed, Chen noted. Her people had aimed for engines and weapons, avoiding reactor strikes that would have killed entire crews. "Commander Vesketh," Chen said calmly, "your forces will withdraw immediately. Any disabled ships will be towed to neutral space and returned to you. Your crews will be treated according to galactic conventions on prisoners of war. Do you understand?" Vesketh's image showed a being who had just had his understanding of the universe shattered. "How? Your weapons, your shields, your speed? None of this matches what we knew about humanity. That's because you never actually knew humanity, Commander. You knew what we showed you. We are a young species in galactic terms, but we come from a world that tried to kill us for millions of years. We learned to survive, to adapt, and to build tools that made us stronger than anything nature could throw at us. Then we turned those skills toward reaching the stars." Chen stood up from her chair. "We chose to enter galactic society peacefully. We deliberately limited our technology demonstrations because we didn't want to be feared. We wanted to be friends, trading partners, equals. But we are not weak and we are not prey. The Krovar Empire attacked us because you mistook our peaceful nature for inability to fight. That was your mistake." She gestured to the tactical display showing the disabled Krovar fleet. "Your ships and crews will be returned. We could destroy you, but we won't. That's not who we are. But Commander, you need to take a message back to your empire. Earth is done hiding what we can do. The next time someone threatens humanity, they'll do so knowing exactly what they're facing. And maybe, just maybe, that knowledge will prevent the next war before it starts." The transmission ended. Chen sat back down, suddenly feeling exhausted. Around her, the embassy staff worked quietly, processing the aftermath. Outside, human ships were already beginning recovery operations, sending shuttles to disabled Krovar vessels to provide medical assistance and ensure life support was functional. Lieutenant Morrison approached her station. "Ambassador, we're receiving communications requests from 17 different galactic governments. They all saw what happened. They want explanations," Chen nodded. "Prepare briefing packages for all Galactic Assembly members. It's time we were honest about what humanity actually is. Schedule a full assembly meeting for next week. We have a lot of explaining to do." "What should we tell them, ma'am?" Chen thought about that for a moment. "Tell them the truth. Tell them that humanity has been polite, patient, and peaceful by choice, not necessity. Tell them we hope we can continue being all those things, but make sure they understand that we're capable of defending ourselves and our friends. The galaxy is about to learn who we really are." As the embassy staff went to work, Chen looked out at the stars and thought about the future. Humanity had just changed its relationship with galactic civilization forever. There would be fear, yes. Some species would see them as a threat, but maybe, just maybe, there would also be respect. And respect, combined with humanity's genuine desire for peace, might actually build a more stable galaxy than fear and intimidation ever could. The Krovar Empire had learned an expensive lesson. Soon the entire galaxy would understand what Earth had been quietly hiding among the stars. The age of underestimating humanity was over. The reckoning, The news of humanity's victory over the Krovar fleet spread through galactic communication networks within hours. What should have been a simple colonial dispute had transformed into a revelation that shook the foundations of galactic power structures. Species that had dismissed humanity as minor players suddenly found themselves re-evaluating everything they thought they knew. On the Krovar homeworld of Kreth Prime, the ruling military council convened an emergency session. The chamber was circular, built from dark volcanic stone that reflected the harsh nature of Krovar culture. 12 high commanders sat in elevated positions around the room, each representing a different military sector of their empire. At the center stood Fleet Marshal Korvax, the supreme military authority of the Krovar Empire. Korvax was old by Krovar standards, his exoskeleton showing the scars of countless battles. He had led his species through 2 centuries of expansion, never once experiencing defeat. Now he stood before the council, watching footage of the engagement at Terra Nova system for the 5th time. Each viewing made the reality harder to deny. "Explain this," demanded High Commander 36 from her elevated seat. "Explain how 32 of our finest warships were disabled in less than 8 minutes by a species we classified as minimal threat." Korvax clicked his mandibles in frustration. "Our intelligence was wrong, catastrophically wrong. The humans have been operating under deliberate constraints since entering galactic space. They showed us cargo vessels and called them their fleet. They showed us mining equipment and called it their technology. We believed what we saw because it fit our assumptions." Another commander, Jexith, slammed one of his 4 fists against his armrest. "Assumptions? We have spies, informants, and sensor data from 100 sources. How did they hide this from everyone?" "They didn't hide it," Korvax replied, his voice heavy. "They simply never revealed it. There is a difference. Every ship they showed us was real. Every specification they filed was accurate for those particular vessels. But they never mentioned the other ships, the ones that masqueraded as civilian infrastructure. They answered our questions truthfully while volunteering nothing." He activated a holographic display that showed detailed analysis of the human weapons. "Look at these railguns. The technology is not revolutionary. We understand the principles, but the implementation surpasses anything we have encountered. The projectile velocity, the targeting accuracy, the power generation required to fire them continuously, all of it exceeds our capabilities by significant margins." 36 leaned forward. "Then we adjust our tactics. We study their weaknesses. We prepare for the next engagement. The Krovar Empire does not accept defeat from species that barely left their homeworld a century ago." "There will be no next engagement," Korvax said firmly. The chamber fell silent. Several commanders began to protest, but he raised a hand for silence. "I have analyzed every second of that battle. The humans could have destroyed our entire fleet. Their weapons had clear shots at reactor cores, at life support systems, at command bridges. They chose not to take those shots. They deliberately aimed for propulsion and weapons, leaving our crews alive." He paused, letting that sink in. "Do you understand what that means? In the midst of combat, while moving at speeds we cannot match, they maintain the discipline to disable rather than destroy. This is not the behavior of lucky amateurs. This is the mark of a military force with extraordinary training and technological superiority." Jexith stood up, his posture aggressive. "You speak as if we should fear them. We are Krovar. We have conquered 40 star systems. We have defeated 12 different species. Are we to surrender our pride because one battle went poorly?" Korvax walked slowly around the center of the chamber, his footsteps echoing in the tense silence. "I have been a warrior for 237 years. I have led fleets against the Xanthari Collective, the Primus Federation, and the Helion Dynasty. I know warfare. I know when an enemy is weak and when they are strong. The humans are not just strong. They are terrifyingly advanced, and they have been holding back." He stopped and looked up at the council. "But more concerning than their weapons is their mindset. They disabled our fleet and then immediately began rescue operations. They provided medical aid to our wounded. They towed our damaged ships to safe locations. Ambassador Chen sent me a personal communication offering to return our vessels and crews without ransom or conditions." 36 made a dismissive gesture. "This is weakness. They lack the will to press their advantage." "No," Korvax said sharply. "This is calculated strategy. They want the entire galaxy to see what happened. They want everyone to know that humanity can defeat the mighty Krovar Empire, and then show mercy. This makes them appear both powerful and benevolent. It positions them as protectors rather than conquerors. He activated another display showing diplomatic communications from across the galaxy. In the past 3 days, 15 species have reached out to Earth requesting defense packs. 8 minor civilizations that were considering submitting to Krovar authority have withdrawn their negotiations with us. The Galactic Trade Assembly has called an emergency session specifically to discuss humanity's role in galactic security. The council chamber erupted in angry clicking and shouting. Korvax let them express their frustration before calling for order. The question before us is simple. Do we continue hostilities with humanity, or do we accept reality and seek peace? Peace is surrender, Jexith declared. It is weakness. Peace is survival, Korvax countered. I studied their history after the battle. Do you know what I learned? For 5,000 years, humans fought each other on their home world. They developed weapons that could kill millions. They fought wars that lasted decades and destroyed entire civilizations, and then they stopped. Not because they became weak, but because they became wise. He pulled up images from Earth's historical records, showing devastating wars and their aftermath. They learned that victory means nothing if it destroys what you are trying to protect. They learned that true strength includes knowing when not to fight. These are not lessons the Krovar Empire has ever embraced, and that is why we are now in this position. 3-6 stood up slowly. Fleet Marshal Korvax, are you suggesting we abandon our military traditions? That we become passive like the humans pretended to be? I am suggesting we recognize a superior force when we encounter one and adjust accordingly. The humans proved they can defeat us militarily, but they also offered us a path forward that does not require either species to be destroyed. I propose we accept their offer of peace and learn from this experience. The debate continued for hours. Some commanders argued for immediate retaliation, for mobilizing the full Krovar armada and striking at Earth itself. Others, seeing the tactical analysis and understanding the implications, reluctantly agreed with Korvax. Eventually, after much discussion, a vote was called. The decision was narrow but clear. The Krovar Empire would pursue peace with humanity. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, in the global government complex in Geneva, Director Sarah Okonkwo sat in her office reviewing reports from across human space. As head of Earth's External Relations Directorate, she had overseen humanity's integration into galactic society from the beginning. The decision to hide their true capabilities had been hers, approved by the Global Council but implemented by her department. Her assistant, James Chen, no relation to Ambassador Chen, entered with the latest updates. Director, the Galactic Assembly session is confirmed for tomorrow. All major species will attend. They want answers about our military capabilities and our intentions. Sarah nodded, rubbing her tired eyes. What's the mood among member species? Mixed. The smaller civilizations are relieved. Several have already approached us about mutual defense agreements. They see us as potential protectors against aggressive empires. The larger military powers are nervous. The Xinthian hegemony has increased their defense spending. The Primus Federation is demanding full disclosure of our weapons technology. They can demand all they want, Sarah said quietly. We're not handing over weapons technology to species that might use it against each other or against us. That's non-negotiable. James hesitated. Director, there's something else. We're receiving reports that 3 other species have admitted to similar practices. They've been hiding their true capabilities just like we did. The Narvan Collective apparently has weapons platforms we never detected. The Quilix have stealth technology that makes our systems look primitive. Sarah leaned back in her chair, processing this information. So we weren't the only ones being cautious. Interesting, that might actually make our position stronger. If everyone was hiding something, then no one can claim moral superiority. What will you tell the Assembly tomorrow? Sarah thought carefully before responding. The truth. That humanity looked at galactic civilization and saw both opportunity and danger. We saw species like the Krovar bullying smaller civilizations, and we knew that displaying our full strength immediately would make us targets or force us into conflicts we wanted to avoid. So we chose patience. We chose to build relationships quietly while maintaining the ability to defend ourselves if needed. She stood up and walked to her window, looking out over the city. We'll tell them that Earth's restraint was a gift to the galaxy, not a deception. We gave everyone time to know us as people before seeing us as a potential threat. And now that the secret is out, We'll continue to be the same species we've always been, peaceful when possible, but absolutely capable of defending ourselves and our friends when necessary. James made notes on his tablet. The military is asking about operational protocols going forward. Do we continue hiding our capabilities or do we operate openly now? We operate transparently with our allies and selectively with potential threats. No more pretending our warships are cargo haulers, but we don't need to publish detailed specifications either. Let the galaxy know we're strong without showing them exactly how to counter our advantages. The next day, the Galactic Assembly Chamber was packed beyond capacity. Representatives from every member civilization attended, along with observers from dozens of non-member species. The atmosphere was tense with anticipation. Ambassador Chen stood at the central podium, her image projected on massive screens visible throughout the chamber. The assembly speaker, a Xinthian elder named Cormath, called for order. The Galactic Assembly recognizes Ambassador Chen of Earth. The chamber is yours. Chen took a breath and began. Honored representatives, I stand before you today not to apologize but to explain. 104 years ago, humanity made first contact with galactic civilization. We were young, inexperienced, and eager to join the community of spacefaring species, but we were also careful. She activated displays showing Earth's history. Our world taught us harsh lessons about strength and violence. For thousands of years we fought each other with increasing brutality, until we developed weapons capable of destroying our entire planet. We came very close to making ourselves extinct multiple times, but we survived and we learned. The images shifted to show humanity's early expansion into space. When we reached the stars and found we were not alone, we faced a choice. Do we reveal our full capabilities and risk appearing as threats? Or do we hold back, present ourselves as peaceful traders and explorers, and learn about galactic civilization before showing our strength? Chen looked around the chamber, making eye contact with various delegates. We chose patience. We built ships that could defend us but looked like civilian vessels. We established military protocols that limited our responses to threats. We trained soldiers who never expected to fight but remained ready if called upon. All of this was done with one goal: to give the galaxy time to know us as people before judging us as a potential danger. A delegate from the Primus Federation stood up. Ambassador Chen, you call it patience. Others might call it deception. How can we trust humanity when you hid your true nature for a century? Did we hide our nature? Chen challenged. Or did we simply not advertise capabilities we hoped never to use? Every interaction we've had with other species has been honest. Every treaty we've signed, we've honored. Every trade agreement has been fair. Every scientific collaboration has been genuine. The only thing we didn't share was our military strength, and we refrained from using that strength even when provoked. She pulled up records of incidents over the past century. 12 times human colonies or ships were threatened or attacked by other species. 12 times we responded with restraint. We filed protests, sought diplomatic solutions, and accepted compromises even when we could have responded with force. The Krovar situation was different only because they gave us no other option. The Krovar delegation sat in their section looking uncomfortable. Fleet Marshal Korvax had come personally to the assembly, a significant gesture. He stood and clicked for attention. The Krovar Empire acknowledges our error in judgment. We attacked humanity believing them to be weak. We were wrong. Ambassador Chen speaks truth when she says humanity showed restraint. They could have destroyed our fleet but chose mercy instead. Murmurs ran through the chamber. For the proud Krovar to admit mistake publicly was unprecedented. Korvax continued. The Krovar Empire proposes a formal peace treaty with Earth, including mutual defense provisions and technology sharing agreements. We would learn from humanity's example. Strength combined with wisdom is more valuable than strength alone. The chamber erupted in discussion. Chen waited for quiet before speaking again. Earth accepts the Krovar proposal. We harbor no resentment for their attack. They acted according to their nature and experience. Now we move forward together, hopefully wiser for what has occurred. She looked around at all the assembled delegates. Humanity does not seek to dominate or control. We never have. We simply want to live, work, and grow among the stars as equals with all species. But we will not be victims. We will defend ourselves and our allies with every tool at our disposal. Let that be understood by all. The speaker stood up. The Galactic Assembly acknowledges Earth's statement. A formal resolution, recognizing humanity's military capabilities and peaceful intentions, will be drafted. This session is adjourned. As the delegates filed out, many approached Chen to discuss various proposals and concerns. The galaxy had changed. Humanity was no longer the young species to be underestimated or bullied. They had revealed themselves as a major power, and the implications would reshape galactic politics for generations to come. Later that evening, Chen sat in her quarters aboard Earth's embassy station, reviewing the day's events. A communication came through from Director Okonkwo on Earth. "You did well today, Ambassador." The speech struck exactly the right tone. Chen smiled tiredly. "I just told them what we've been saying all along. We want peace, but we're not helpless. Somehow that's revolutionary to species that only respect force." "It's not revolutionary," Sarah replied. "It's just rare. Most species either hide their strength out of fear or display it to intimidate. We did something different. We hid our strength while building relationships, then revealed it only when necessary. That combination of patience and power is what makes us unique." "What happens now?" Chen asked. "Now we stop hiding and start building? The galaxy knows what humanity can do. Let's show them what we choose to do with that capability. Let's be the species that uses strength to protect the weak, that uses technology to solve problems, that uses wisdom to prevent conflicts. Let's be what we've always claimed to be, the bridge between war and peace." Chen nodded. "I can work with that. Tomorrow I start negotiations with the smaller species coalition. They want Earth to guarantee their independence against larger empires." "Good. That's exactly the kind of role we should play. Not as conquerors or overlords, but as protectors and partners." Sarah paused. "Ambassador, you asked what happens now. Here's my answer. Now we prove that humanity's restraint wasn't weakness or deception. It was exactly what we said it was, a choice. And we keep making that choice every day while ensuring no one ever mistakes our peaceful nature for inability to defend what matters." The transmission ended, and Chen looked out her viewport at the stars. The galaxy stretched before her, full of possibilities and challenges. Humanity had shown its teeth to those who threatened them. Now came the harder part, proving that those teeth could be kept sheathed while still commanding respect. The age of underestimating Earth was over. The age of understanding humanity was just beginning, and Chen had a feeling that what came next would be the most interesting chapter in human history since they first reached for the stars. Outside her window, a human patrol ship glided past, no longer disguised as a civilian vessel. Its weapons were visible, its shields were active, and its purpose was clear. But it moved with measured grace, confident but not aggressive. It was, Chen thought, a perfect symbol of what humanity had become. Powerful enough to fight, but wise enough to choose peace whenever possible. The galaxy would adapt to this new reality. Some species would become allies, drawn to humanity's strength and principles. Others would keep their distance, wary but respectful. And a few might still challenge them, testing whether humanity's restraint had limits. Those few would learn the same lesson the Krovar had learned. Earth's patience was genuine, but it was never infinite. And when that patience finally ended, the response would be swift, overwhelming, and precise. Not cruel, not excessive, but absolutely effective. That was humanity's promise to the galaxy. "We will be your friends if you let us. We will be your partners in building a better civilization, but we will never again be your victims. We were just being polite until now, and politeness should never be mistaken for weakness." The stars shone bright and endless, and among them humanity had finally claimed its rightful place, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as equals who earned their respect through both strength and wisdom. The story of Earth's emergence as a galactic power had just begun, and the galaxy was watching to see what humanity would do with the strength they had revealed. Chen had a feeling they would be surprised, not by displays of force or aggression, but by something far more radical, a species that used overwhelming power to build rather than destroy, to protect rather than dominate, to unite rather than divide. That was humanity's true weapon. Not their ships or shields or railguns, but their ability to imagine a better future and work toward it with patience, determination, and unshakable resolve. The Krovar had learned this lesson. Soon the entire galaxy would understand. Earth had been polite long enough. Now they would be themselves, powerful, principled, and ready for whatever came next.